Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, lived an elderly woman named Grandma Millie. Grandma Millie was well loved by everyone in the village for her warmth, wisdom, and the delicious pies she baked for every occasion. But her most loyal companion was her cat, Whiskers, a sleek, gray tabby with bright green eyes and a heart full of courage. Whiskers was no ordinary cat. He had always been a little different, showing a keen sense of awareness that went beyond typical feline intuition. He could sense when someone was sad and needed a comforting purr, or when Grandma Millie needed a reminder to take her medicine. But one day, Whiskers would face the greatest challenge of his life. It was a cold winter evening, and a fierce snowstorm had rolled into the village. The wind howled through the trees, and snow piled high against the doors. Grandma Millie, as usual, was prepared with a warm fire and plenty of blankets. She settled into her favorite chair with a cup of tea, while Whiskers curled up in her lap. But as the night wore on, the storm grew stronger, and an uneasy feeling crept into Whiskers' mind. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The fire in the hearth dimmed, and the room grew colder by the minute. Grandma Millie got up to check the fire, but as she stood, she swayed and nearly collapsed. Whiskers leapt to her side, nudging her with his head. Millie managed to catch herself, but she was clearly weak and disoriented. Whiskers knew something was wrong. He darted to the table where Grandma Millie's medicine was kept, but the bottle was empty. Grandma Millie, tired and weak, had forgotten to refill her prescription. Whiskers understood that without her medicine, Grandma Millie was in serious danger. With the storm raging outside, Whiskers knew he had to act fast. He bolted to the window and saw the path to the village pharmacy covered in snow and nearly impassable. But Whiskers was determined. He nudged open the cat flap and plunged into the freezing night. The snow was deep, almost swallowing Whiskers as he trudged through it, his small body battling the elements. The wind whipped around him, but he pressed on, driven by the thought of Grandma Millie alone and in danger. His paws ached, and his fur was soaked through, but he never stopped. After what felt like hours, Whiskers finally reached the pharmacy. He meowed loudly, scratching at the door until the pharmacist, Mr. Jenkins, opened it. Surprised to see the drenched cat, Mr. Jenkins recognized Whiskers immediately. Seeing the desperation in Whiskers' eyes, he quickly understood the situation. Mr. Jenkins grabbed a fresh bottle of medicine, wrapped Whiskers in a warm towel, and set off through the storm with the brave cat leading the way. They arrived at Grandma Millie's house, to find her barely conscious, by the cold hearth. Mr. Jenkins rushed to her side, administering the medicine just in time. As the medicine began to take effect, Grandma Millie opened her eyes, smiling weakly at Whiskers, who was now curled up on her chest, purring softly. She whispered,
"You saved me, my little hero."
The storm passed by morning, and the village learned of Whiskers' incredible journey. From that day on, Whiskers was no longer just Grandma Millie's cat, he was the village hero, a symbol of loyalty, bravery, and the unbreakable bond between a grandmother and her faithful friend. And though Whiskers never sought the spotlight, he always stayed close to Grandma Millie, ready to protect her whenever she needed him.